Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the State of SWGoH with me, Stero, and Lisol.
Hello.
So, we left off talking about Gungan's Conquest and Galactic Challenge Omicrons, but now we are going to get into something equally controversial. Darth Bane!
Yay! I love
More
Darth
controversial
Bane.
in a good way, but for the most part, but Bane has been awesome. He was the first Conquest unit that I actually tried for.
Did you get him in the first 3 then?
So I did, but I had to wait an extra week until they put his shards in the shop, and I had enough saved up currency, whatever the Conquest currency, that I just bought him a few more times and it pushed me over the edge.
Oh, nice. Well, congrats on your first early unlock of a Conquest character that at your GP is not easy. I barely on my
Amplify Agony, and Ruthless Swiftness carried me through
those. The right build and with CLS, as we spoke about earlier, and Iden also, you just crush through stuff. It's great. It's great when you finally crack the Conquest code, and then going forward, they'll get easier and easier because it's the snowball effect.
Get more and
more resources, makes you build faster and faster, and you'll have more and more stuff to do with it. So hopefully, going forward, these conquests will be pretty easy for you.
Yeah, and Bane has been such an amazing addition to my roster. He allows me to take out pretty much anything, minus some slight struggles I've had recently against Leia, but that maybe I'm doing something a little bit wrong there. Who knows? But yeah, besides that, I'm able to take out pretty much anything. I took out a JMK because Cat insta-killed the side.
Yeah,
it was total chance, but I had no other choice, and I was like, I have to use Bane here. And because Cat didn't insta-kill Bane, I was able to...
And you were able to do this without the Omicron, or without the Datacron?
Without the Datacron, yeah. I do have a pretty decent Datacron, giving him a plus 56% health, something like that, and it's got some other Sith stuff on it, but
if in the next Conquest season, if you can build the Banecron with the 50% with the speed and offense boost on allies dying, man, you'll be able to pretty easily beat the Leia. I think that Bane is not a natural counter to Leia. So when we were discussing this earlier, and you said you were having trouble, and I was like, well, I'm not having trouble. It's because I have the Datacron and you don't. And JMK, though, if you don't bring in a pre-taunt, you might just be screwed right off the rip. I don't know. Do you have Sith Empire Trooper at Relics?
No, I need to get him up. He's on my short list of things I need to...
Are you actively working on Leviathan, or is it just for Bane tanking?
So just for Bane and or C, because I am within a week of starting the C journey.
Oh, well, good for you.
Which is nice. I'm sure as soon as I start the C journey, a week or two later, they're going to release a Lightspeed bundle with all the crap characters I just farmed up to relics. But
that's just the way that it is.
It's just the way that it is. And
lose out on some of those things. I will for sure. It sucks, but it is what it is. I'd rather work on something and then eventually it gets given away to people for
I actually stunted my progress towards C, because when I decided that I was going to go all in on Bane, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for C as well, because he's supposed to be the lifter, right?
Nah.
Pleasantly surprised that Bane is actually a GL by himself, pretty much. So
he's the best GL in the game right now.
I spent a ton of my saved up Gear 12 and Relic materials, and I just pushed them straight to Relic 8.
No, that was wise. That was
put all the Zetas on, put the Omicron on as unique, and I have not regretted it at all.
I still haven't done the lead Zeta, but I don't know if I've ever even used him to kill Jedi. And that's what it seems like that lead Zeta is for, is for going against Jedi, because doesn't it like double the stats you get for?
No, I'm pretty sure it just
if
removes 20 speed.
Or,
We gotta look this up.
I'm looking it up right now too. Let's see. The lead. The end of his turn, the weakest other Sith ally. Blah 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 blah. Light side enemies have -10. That's what what is on the Zeta is. The light side enemies have -10 speed doubled for Jedi.
Yeah, so it's -20 speed.
It's nice, but I don't think it was necessary to spend the Zeta on, at least not for me, because I mainly use it against dark side teams anyway. Lord Vader's.
I guess it would help against Master Luke.
Yeah, but I don't. Maybe your experience is different, but I don't see too many Master Lukes on defense, and I use GI against Master Luke pretty frequently. Or Star Killer beats up on JML as well.
I use Traya if it's not threes. I use Traya, and generally in threes, Master Luke is on offense. Occasionally in fives, I'll see him on defense, but I'll just use Traya, which is hilarious because my Gear 12 Traya team still takes out Relic. I don't care. JML teams.
See, I have G12 Traya as well, and I use it to kill like R8 Reva teams. It gets sketchy as long as I don't lose Nihilus before I nuke Reva. I'm good, but we're not talking about Traya. We could talk all day about Traya, I'm sure. We're talking about Bane here. So, you indicated to me before we started that you were pretty upset about the double dispel not working properly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because I am a GAC built roster that's still fairly young, and so I'm bringing everything on offense, like all out offense, and I stretch my teams. I try to get things to beat other things that you would normally never do, just because I don't have enough to get around. And so there's been several cases where it's been very, very annoying. It hasn't necessarily lost the battle, but when teams gain lots of foresight, particularly like a Jedi Knight, Revan with Grandmaster Yoda, or mainly it's been Master Luke with a Grandmaster Yoda, and he just keeps putting up foresight, and I'm like, I want to do the siphon and gain that health, like the ramping health, but I can't because it just misses because of the foresight. And if I do the dispel, it dispels it, but it doesn't do any damage.
Right.
And then also against the Jedi Master Kenobis, which I occasionally, like I just said, I used Bane against Jedi Master Kenobi in my last Grand Arena. So to me, it's rarely a decider in the match.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'd like to note that it makes it really hard against the Holdocron because Holdo gives everybody foresight. So there's that. But the biggest thing for me is it clearly is not working as intended. It clearly says buff dispel, damage.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me the most. It's not necessarily that I'm losing matchups, but that like it's clearly like and this was on their brand new character. At the time, we knew that this was an issue, and they've gone and patched other random crap, but they haven't addressed that on their brand new character that's supposed to be making them a bunch of money still, right? As we're going into the fifth one for people trying to get Bane. So a lot of people probably getting really close.
Yeah. We're probably, I mean, every conquest probably add a few hundred at least of Banes. And if they're not working properly, it sucks. And when we discussed it earlier, I said like it doesn't really affect it too much. Yes, it does not work properly, but it doesn't really hurt my matches at all. But I think I've come around to your position. I think you're right, and I'll tell you why. Because I got absolutely tilted 2 weeks ago, and sometime in week 1 of this GAC, where I tried to use Qui-Gon against Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, and somehow his bonus turn meter took precedence over Jedi Knight Anakin's bonus turn, which is not how that works.
Ooh.
And I was furious because it does not work that way. Now, some try hard in the comments Tell me how wrong I am, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that the bonus turn takes precedence over the bonus turn meter. And then, so Qui-Gon died, Anakin gained 100% turn meter, and then went down to 90%, and then Dark Trooper Moff Gideon took a turn.
Well, does Anakin gain?
No,
I think he gains a bonus turn, not just turn meter, right?
Bonus turn, right? Not
Yeah, so that should take precedence.
Yeah.
Although I think the calculations, if you like, I think you can gain.
You can gain
over
excess
100%.
turn meter, but I'm pretty sure that excess turn meter is still less than a bonus turn.
Yeah, I would think so. Because that's how troopers can still go even when you have like a freaking Sith Marauder that's sitting at 100% turn meter and your troopers are still rolling over that Revan team.
Yeah, because they're all at 140% turn meter.
Yep.
Yeah. But, so I agree with you. It should be fixed. And so should the bonus turn on Qui-Gon against Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. But just because it should play the way that it reads.
Yes. Yeah, it really should.
And if they didn't want it to work, or if they wanted it to work the way that it does in game, then all they got to do is take the text out that says that it does it twice. That's it.
Which would spark.
Oh no, people would be furious.
Such backlash. Yeah,
they would be furious, but that's the right thing to do if they don't want to fix it.
Yes. Yep. I mean, Arnold would have one of his screaming sessions about CG,
God
which are always
Arnold.
Those are so fun to watch. I love watching them. He had one around Christmas where he was like in a robe and like reading by the fire,
like a fireside.
And then he just like turned. He's just yells into the cameras, "CG, fix your game!" It was horrible.
All the rage about the game not being fixed, not working properly, not having enough testing. Overall, though, the game works pretty well.
Yeah, overall.
And generally,
but they don't test it. I cannot.
Oh no, they don't test it. If they tested Bane, he wouldn't be killing every single GL right now.
Well, I honestly think that was their intent.
I think their intent was that he would kill every GL with C, not with Sith Empire Trooper.
Well, I think they can't backtrack that now, though.
Oh no, they can't. They absolutely can't, and I love that they can't because it's so fun to play. I have
because C still does good stuff. Like you bring in like Watt, which does. Sorry, Trench. It's still a C.
Still chained to Watt or to C. But that's
Watt in armor, and then C just takes down a lot of good teams. Anything that's not a galactic legend.
Yeah, and
you can take out
under the right circumstances can take out some GLs. Yeah. But generally, I use them to kill Malgus or something.
I mean, honestly, I've seen people make the joke, but C really does feel at this point like a Bane lifter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like
if I need to kill something really hard, but I'm going to use Bane, but my best option is to use C with Bane.
Yep. Well, and there was the whole fiasco with Bane's effects persisting after his death for C, and they removed that clause. That was what made Bane so good, because he's a worse Watt, because Watt's tank tech at least stays after Watt dies.
Yeah.
And if you lose all of the bonuses that Bane gave C after Bane dies, i.e. against Jedi Master Kenobi, it's almost useless. I mean, he does get jacked up stats, whatever, but it just feels bad. And then when you can take Bane on his own and just kill a different GL, then why wouldn't you do that? Bane is just nuts. Well, I love him. He's probably horrible for the balance of the game because it's already offensive heavy, but he's so much fun to play with. I do also use him for galactic challenges. Whenever there's a galactic challenge that is use an undersized squad, I just throw in Bane and random Sith. And
that probably works pretty well
every time. Yeah, it's just fun to use. I love using Bane.
I always wind up doing Jabba -1 for some reason. That's what I use for that. I don't know. So I just got it in my head.
For me, I don't have Jabba or most of the Gs. I only have 2 GLs right now, coming up on 3. And so for me, having Bane is so good.
Oh yeah.
And then in Conquest, actually, if I do Darth Vader lead with Bane, and so they still get the rule of 2 bonuses, but he's not sacrificing the other Sith. So I'm able to 3-star most nodes with that combo.
Yeah, and
it only uses 2 characters. So
and you can actually do the dot feats with that because for some reason the caustic emissions and volatile accelerators don't count.
Yep.
Which is infuriating.
It's very dumb. But yeah. So
yeah.
Any other thoughts on Bane?
I love him. Love the guy. He's great. Fantastic. Phenomenal. Excellent. I can't wait to use him every single GAC. He's usually I open up my GAC with Bane fight because I know it's going to be a W every time, and it's so much fun.
Speaking of GAC, that is our next topic, which is the GAC meta, which we've touched on, honestly, many, many times throughout our conversation so far. But the meta, I think, to no one's surprise, is offense. Like, I know people are going to yell at me in the comments. They're going to say, oh, no, you have to put defense, and the higher you go, the more you put on defense. Yes, but they still get one shot.
And that's only because you have more stuff.
Yeah.
I can. I'm still bringing my 15 best teams on offense, but now the next 15 are just better teams.
And you might say, you know what? I will put my Rey and or Jabba on defense.
That's what
just because they have higher hold rates.
Too.
And then you bring everything else on offense anyway, and it's not really like you're turtling up. And it is very offensive heavy, which does make for, I think, more exciting Grand Arenas than a defense-centered Grand Arena. Because if like you just get stuck on the front wall, there's not as much content there. There's not as much
from a content creator standpoint.
Yes, that's from the content creator standpoint. From the strategic standpoint, it would be nice to have defensive teams that you could actually rely on.
I'd like to play the slug match kind of game, but because of where I've been historically in GAC, I've always had to just play. I've always been punching up against my opponents up until very recently, and now they're all just even. So I've always had to just play some mostly cheese defense and bring everything for offense and hope I scored one more banner than my opponent, basically. So I think for a lot of players, the efficiency is just the way to play regardless. But the way the meta is, and we've spoken about it multiple times, just the board's not big enough. We've got too many tools. Everything has 2 to 3 hard counters, except for a couple of teams. But then you just save that one hard counter for that team, you know?
Yeah, and there's occasionally if you're punching down, then you have some options on defense, and that can be kind of fun. But if you're punching up or playing even, it's generally not the case that you can really set a defense that can stump your opponent.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's only against much, much lesser accounts that you can actually piece together, okay, if I place these 2 GLs, he only has 1 counter for either of those, and it's the same team. And so if I place both of them, he can't get through it. Dunzo.
And if you're sitting there having the conversation we're having right now, you're not fighting lesser accounts.
Yes, exactly.
If you put this much thought into it, you're not fighting those people. So
I'm like 6 million in Kyber 4, sometimes Kyber 3, but recently it's been the.
I mean, if you just hanging in Kyber, not getting booted out of Kyber is pretty impressive.
Well, we'll see after this. I have to record one tonight.
3s is rough, man. To stay in Kyber, especially at that low GP. On my alt between 6 million and what I'm at now, 7.5 million. I've been bouncing between Erodium 1 and Kyber 5. This is my first stretch of 2 or more seasons in Kyber. So it's not easy to do. So you're really pulling something off. I'm sure you play against a lot of players who, based on their account, should be a lot better, but you still got to play them, and you still got to beat the defenses they put down.
My bracket right now, I have a couple 6 million accounts actually. I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time I'm playing around the 9 million mark for accounts.
And we do have to recognize that Kyber has gotten larger.
It has, and that was actually a really good
fixed the
change, I thought.
Yes, since they fixed the squish.
Besides the, you know, 2
That-
million GP account at maxed out 5,000 points
Yeah.
because they had an error in their calculations.
That's rough that happened. It's unfortunate. It sucks for those people at the top. From what I understand, most of them don't give a crap.
Well, yeah, they enjoy the crystal income.
No. I'm saying that the real people at the top, the Tassinixes and
then you just have to do
Aesop
some
Rocks of
math
this
to
world.
see what you're actually placed.
Yeah, which again, if they don't care, if those people that would be in those spots don't care, it's not that big a deal. We do know that they're trying to fix it, so hopefully it gets fixed. And
I would hate it.
There's a few people out there who barely play that are getting crazy crystal income, and they're not even sure why. So good for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, you just park yourself up there and you don't play another GAC, and you just secure yourself a real nice income.
Yeah. Because you can't.
But
do you lose points if you don't sign up? You stay at the same point level the whole time? You only lose points if you sign up and lose?
Pretty sure, yeah. Because that's what people did when they changed the GAC system.
Mm-hmm.
The first time is people like went all the way up to the top and then they just didn't play again and kept getting that crystal income after it switched over.
Yeah, but you get so many crystals from wins and losses.
You do, yeah. So it's not really worth it
if you want to be low effort, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But if you are relatively competitive or you want to be high effort, it's definitely not worth it.
Or you make content off of Grand Arena.
Yeah, which is
we'll do it.
roughly the biggest content there is in the game, so.
But
yeah. What are you in Kyber 3 and 4? And I have an account in the same area. It might fall out of Kyber 4 because I went 0-3 this past week, so we'll see. Hopefully I can stay in Kyber. But what kind of defenses do you see? What do you see on defense? Because I see a wide variety of things.
Oh, it is a wide variety. I always see General Grievous for some reason, even though they know. I mean, all it takes is a quick look at my roster to see.
It's free banners. Everybody knows how to beat Grievous, and it's not a good defensive team. And it's actually a fun to play offensive team, even if it's bad banners generally.
Yeah.
But I also see GG almost every match.
So let's see. Who do I see often? I see Grievous. I see... for me, I see if they have Jedi Master Kenobi, he's on defense. Because people look enough...
I have the exact opposite experience.
Yeah, people look enough to see.
Is that just the one you struggle the most against when it's on defense?
Yeah, well, because they're like, oh, he's got like Rey and SLKR. He can't beat Kenobi. That joke's on you. Yes, I can. I've beaten like Rey is my go-to Kenobi counter. Which is kind of funny, but... well, yeah. I mean, I haven't been solo, so
yeah, I've never tried a Rey versus JMK, but Rey was just. The second I got her, the second I bought her,
on defense.
I bought her. I put her on defense. Yeah.
Well, for me, she hasn't. So that's the thing with me is, I know she's good on defense, but she's given me generally since I'm punching up so much, she has given me far more utility on offense for helping clear those really tough teams than she has on defense. Because people usually have like, they'll bring Jabba. Like, they'll bring Jabba on offense, and it's like, okay, well, my Rey is literally useless, so I might as well bring her on offense because he's just going to one-shot whatever crap garbage team I put there anyway. Yeah. So I just go for banners.
With Jabba, going to get max banners against pretty much anything. So, yeah.
I see a lot of gas. I've been seeing a lot of Starkiller on defense recently.
Starkiller sucks ass if you accidentally preload it, like because a lot of the hard counters for Starkiller are not hard counters. They're good counters. They're high. There's a high percentage, 75, 80, 85, maybe even as much as 90, but they're not perfect. And if you preload Starkiller with Mara Jade, you are screwed. I have thrown 10 teams at a Starkiller because I was like, I'll just wampa it. I've wamped Starkiller. And then, Mara Jade's 100% turn meter at the start of every time of the fight, every single time.
I have always, like, I've tried several times and failed, but I've always thought theoretically there should be a way to make Hux first order TIE pilot with the Omicron and Sith Trooper beat beat a Star Killer team.
I may
Because
have
it
done that
shuts down turn meter gain,
once.
but generally they just have too much damage and you're like a glass cannon team. So if you don't nuke out Mara Jade right away, you're done. And in 5v5 they generally have Visas and they just revive, so it's just kind of a lost cause.
And the shocks will prevent you from getting advantage, which messes up the Hux lead and the dominance, right? That's what it is. So
yeah,
I think I have used that counter before, but you got to get Mara Jade out really fast.
Yep.
I've started putting on my main. I've been putting Star Killer on defense because I'm like, well, Star Killer isn't countering Rey right now, at least not consistently, and that's basically all I used him for. So I'm putting him on defense, letting my enemies deal with it.
Yeah, because Star Killer had like 3 months of kind of being usable again, and then then the health crons came back and it was all over.
I'm kind of salty about where Star Killer has been in the meta lately, because Star Killer is one of my favorite teams in the game.
Pulling it out of the sky is such a good feeling.
But he's still usable. He's still a good team. He can still beat Rays, but it's sketchy as hell. And it has been a sketchy fight for several months now. And I just want another period of time where I can just see Rey on defense, bring in Star Killer, and wreck their stuff. Like, just kill them.
It works better in 5v5 too, I found,
than
3v3.
Yeah, in 3 he's pretty rough. I've occasionally seen the Savage variant, Star Killer, and
but then you gotta bring Savage.
And Savage is just too awesome to put with Star Killer, in my opinion. Even at G12, like we talked about earlier, G12 Savage, you can beat like Relic CLS teams.
I've seen the people have been using Star Killer, like just breaking up his team and using him with Seer and Malicos to take out.
Oh yeah, Rey. Yeah. Well,
so it's just like,
well, that's a light side Ufu and a dark side Ufu, so his Omicrons are not broken. So yeah, that's.
Yeah. I mean, that's what people were using against. I think they use that against Leia as well.
Really?
That's maybe it was a different one. Maybe there was. I know Malicos has been doing great things. I wish I had Malicos.
Defense. That's like,
I wish I had Malicos. I'm gonna have to wait till Proving Grounds, unfortunately.
Dude, Proving Grounds is the worst. Do you 3-star your Proving Grounds? Do you have?
I've 3-starred most of them, except I haven't been bothered to get Traya into relics yet, so I have not 3-starred the TIE Interceptor.
Do you have Bam, IG-11, and Queel, Dash, and Cat?
I don't have Cat.
Oof. Get Cat, Bam, Dash, IG-11, Queel, and Cat.
Yep. Although I've been 1-starring it every time. I just use.
Well, if you can beat it every time, then
the only one I haven't been able to beat yet, which maybe I will be soon, I don't know, is the Malgus.
Dude, the Malgus one is hard too.
It's very inconsistent because I've been using SLKR, and then I tried to use Rey, and I'm hoping that C. I think there's a way to 3-star it with C, isn't there? Or at least get consistent win, like 1-star wins.
I'm not certain. I don't. Proving Grounds comes out on a day of the week that is rough for me, work and family wise, and same with that friggin' Galactic Legend event. So if I can do them, I only have a short period of time to try. So what I try and do is I just try and blast them out right before I go to work, and if I don't get them done, I don't get them done, and it sucks. But we're way off topic here.
Let's go to Datacrons actually, because that is a big part of the GAC meta.
It is basically the GAC meta.
And you say, well, you start off your battles with Bane. I don't have the Bane cron. but I always start off my Grand Arenas with a Sidious Cron.
Well, he's number 2. He comes after.
He is.
After I do
Yeah.
Because
And obviously, like I put out a Sidious testing video.
I watched that video, and that video got a ton of views for you. By the way,
oh yeah, it's like over 11,000 right now.
That's That's excellent. Congrats.
The only reason is because Arnold hates Datacrons, so I was the first to get a testing, like an actual testing video out.
That's fair. He doesn't really cover Datacrons too much. Just
he eventually did. He eventually did after everybody was like, "This is insane." But I've had so much fun with Sidious, and I mean, he beats a lot of good stuff, but he doesn't feel overpowered, right? There's still a lot of teams he loses to,
and it feels like he could die at any second.
Oh,
and, like, you're riding a knife's edge when you're playing with him,
and anything fun. Like percent health effects wreck him. Although I was able, and I released a part 2, and I tuned it so I got a second Sidious Cron, and I got one with all protection on the Datacron.
Ooh, was that helpful?
It was. I was able to take out a CLS team.
Oh, nice.
With all health, I wasn't able to because the exposes were annihilated.
And Chewbacca's basic doing percent health damage and all that. Yeah.
So I was just, I was able to. It was a little bit dicey, but I was able to do it, and I jacked up his speed, so he's like at 305 speed.
Ooh, that's good.
On my Sidious. Plus, he gets the plus 100 speed, so he's at like 405. He goes first usually.
That's awesome.
I love playing with him. I did find out a bug in that testing, which was gas, which CG acknowledged. I sent in a ticket. They acknowledged that it was a bug.
What was the bug? What happened?
So I got 5. So it was against gas. 5 stacks. So gas was up. 5 stacks of the damage over times on Rex.
Okay.
What should have happened was it triggers an insta kill because it says instantly defeat.
Yeah.
What happened was Rex
sacrificed 5s.
He didn't. 5s didn't. That's what I was expecting, was 5s would get sacrificed. What happened was 5 instances of true damage were dealt to Rex, and his health went down. Which gas is standing up. That should not be possible.
Yeah.
But more importantly to me was he didn't instantly die like he was supposed to.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to do his cleanse thing and then aerial advantage nuke me.
Yeah, because if you use like Mando or Nihilus, you can nuke somebody while gas is standing. Or like you would against like Qui-Gon.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they can't. So people kept getting this mixed up in the comments. They're like, "Oh, they can't be defeated if gas is up." No, they can't lose health.
Yeah, they can't fall below 0% health because they can't take any.
Yes,
health
but I'm pretty sure instant defeat is instant defeat.
Yeah. No, that's
right. That's why we have like Ben Solo gives everybody instant defeat immunity. That's why Night Sisters have instant defeat immunity, because it's different than not losing health. Some people have theorized about the calculations about, in order to instantly defeat them, it sets their health to 0 or something like that. I don't know how their code works in the back end, but I do know they're different. They're supposed to be different.
They are different. Yeah,
and that was a bug.
Mechanically, they're different. So
yeah, it was a bug. I don't think they're going to address it.
Well, I mean, they famously said, if something's wrong with Datacrons, just wait until it phases out because they're temporary.
He's doing pretty well without. He can beat his Galactic Legend variant, which is fun.
I use him against Maul. And I'll just AoE 3 times, and then all of a sudden Maul's dead. And I don't even know why, because he didn't have any stacks on him. So, yeah,
I'll have to try
easy.
That. I would think Maul would destroy him, though, with like, get 5 stacks of Anguish, and then just bam, 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 you're dead.
I would think so, too. Somebody watching my stream convinced me to try it. And I'm like, well, he's got ISC and Gar Saxon, and they're all actually relics, so this is a real
but
team.
They can't assist.
They can't assist. That's the thing. So what happens is I'm pretty sure I'll have to go back and rewatch footage, but I'm pretty sure that my Sidious just goes first. And he does his AoE, and then Maul does his AoE, and then I go again and do my AoE, and then Maul takes a turn and he's dead because of the stacks of dots. But whenever he dies, I never see the stacks on him because I'm just like hitting buttons, laughing hysterically at what I'm doing to them.
It's the true Sidious.
It's the way Sidious
laughing
should
maniacally.
be. Yeah.
Honestly,
it's ultimate power.
This Datacron. So this is what I'm saying is this Datacron is really good, but it's not like game-breakingly powerful.
No.
It's like having a second Wampa, but he works in slightly. There's a lot of overlap, but he does work in slightly different situations than Wampa.
Yes.
And I really want this to be an Omicron on Sidious.
Oh yeah.
He's got a territory war one, but like nobody
Just
cares.
change
it's not
the
that
text
great.
of the Omicron from, even if it was a I have like 3 territory war Omicrons. If his territory war Omicron did that, I would buy it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Just because it's fun to play. I would actually participate in TW because I'd have a reason to, because it's fun. And that's why I play the game, is to have fun.
And I think other people have wanted that to be an Omicron too. They're like, why isn't this his Omicron? This is like Sidious. He fought solo. He was the solo Sith in the shadows. And even when his apprentice was there, he never fought side by side with his apprentice. He was always on his own. And every time we see him duel, it's him versus everybody else.
In Rise of the Rise of Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith, Jesus. In Revenge of the Sith, doesn't he literally take on 5 Jedi by himself? Like they come to
5.
I'm pretty sure it's 5. It might be 4. But
the only reason I'm thinking 4 is because the C event has 4.
So even if they made that his Omicron and made it only apply if the opposing enemy leader was a Jedi, that would still be super fun, and I might actually still buy it because it'd just be fun. It's very flavorful, and it gives you a taste of the power that Sidious actually had. And isn't that why we play? Like, you want to feel like you're actually playing these characters, and with the gimpy, horrible Sidious we have, it's just, it feels bad, man.
So the rest of the Datacrons, I know some people don't like them. I actually really enjoy them.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm getting to use them right now, and they're so much fun to use.
And that's a huge advantage that you probably have over your opponents in GAC.
Oh yeah. And it doesn't take that much. Like if you've
got a dozen halfway
and you actually focus on farming the correct materials for your Datacrons, you can get those high-level Datacrons.
Oh yeah.
And you usually have, like, they do the calendars where you get the reroll mats. You can usually get enough to get 1 or 2 of the good level 9s. So I really like this set. Protection and health is always, it presents its own problems for specific teams, Starkiller and Rey. But this one has been fun. And maybe that's just because I have Sidious and Bane, and so it's been extra fun. But Kit Fisto is surprisingly powerful all of a sudden, just randomly, and it's kind of funny.
I have a Kit Fisto cron. I wish I had Kit Fisto. I said out loud the other day, I wish I had Kit Fisto, and somebody was like, "Did you really?" Like, that's got to be the first time anybody's ever said that. I'm like, well, apparently you put him on JMK, and it's really good.
Yeah, so I've really liked that. In the past Datacron set too, with like Biggs and Chirrut. Sorry. That just made a pretty mid team into just like,
you're being generous, mid team.
Well, I mean, it turned into. I remember watching Arnold taking JMK.
Yeah,
I watched Arnold taking JMK like the first time he faced that team on defense in Grand Arena.
Yeah,
and I watched him lose to the Saw team with JMK.
Oh, I'm sure
it was hilarious.
He probably.
Well, I mean, he was maybe a little bit mad, but I think he was mostly just impressed.
Oh yeah.
Like,
sometimes that
it's
happens.
Kind of hard to be mad. You're like, wow.
You get smoked. You're like, damn. What even was that?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I played against. I have dubbed this team in threes T-Rex.
Okay.
Because there's 2 Rexes.
Oh. Yeah, I put that on defense.
Which is Rex, and 5s. And with the Omicron, I was not necessarily thinking the greatest. I think it was Monday, so my brain was not firing on all cylinders. I was like, hey, I should try Sidious solo versus this team. So it turns out, as someone helpfully mentioned in my comment section, that
I know where you're going with this.
Rex has a dispel on his basic, so I could never get 5 stacks on anybody.
Yeah.
And then Rex aerial advantage nuked me.
Yep.
So I was like, yep, that'll do it.
That's Sidious's one weakness is those big hits. It's like bullets,
massive damage, insta kills, and percent health effects.
Yeah.
Foresight too. Foresight.
Yeah.
Slows him down.
I feel like I have a tendency to lap my opposing teams with my Sidious, but I could be misremembering how that works. All I know is
do you have the level 6 that when they take damage at the start of their turn, you gain turn meter?
Oh, I have everything closed right now. I don't believe so. I think I have the one that gives me. No, maybe that's a level 3. The one that gives you tenacity and potency, or tenacity up and
yeah, I think that's the level 3.
I can't remember.
Whenever you get dispelled.
I can't remember what the level 6 is. Maybe it is the TM train one, but yeah, I don't remember. I am enjoying the hell out of these Datacrons though. They are super fun, and that's what they have to be fun in order to be for me to want to play with them, because in principle, I don't like them. I don't like temporary boosts that can be purchased. I think it's scummy. But as they do in this game, they do a good job of making everything available to everyone, no matter how much or how little money you spend. So you can get all of the Datacrons you want, even if you're not spending any money, as long as you're spending the time. And
you're just
these ones are worth getting.
Rerolls, like the perfect stats that you want.
But I have found that this is the first season, and you might not be in a position at your GP to be able to do this, but this is the first season, the first Datacron set that I have used Shard Shop currency. Basically, as soon as the sets turned over and this new set came out, I started buying Datacrons, mats, and data cash with my Shard Shop currency. This is the first time I've ever done that. And that actually allowed me to build up a pretty solid base of the Datacrons before Conquest even started. So I had 7 or 8 level 3 Datacrons ready to go. So that way when Conquest started, I was able to get, I think I have 5 or 6 level 9s right now. I do put 50s and 100s into Conquest though. So you at your GP, you're probably not in a position where you can do that.
So the way that I got the Sidious Cron was I got it before the first Conquest, because I bought with, like, you could buy it for like 800 crystals or something like that. You could buy an individual Datacron out of the shop. So they had all the materials and stuff that you could buy with the Shard Shop currency, the
everything but the Mark II currency, or the Mark II mats can be bought with Shard Shop, which was what I learned that this time around. I'm like, why the hell is this?
What I ended up doing for what I sacrificed for that video, which I think was worth it at this point, was I had like over 8,000 crystals saved up for C, and I burnt all of it on getting the Sidious Datacron.
On Datacrons? That's...
Yeah, it felt horrible, but at the same time, I started using Sidious solo, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun.
That is
and then I was also the first to do it, so I got like a pretty big exposure bump there. So, you know the joke, how it goes. Got paid for an exposure.
Well, that, in my opinion, that's a Giga Chad move on your part. Spending all of your crystals, not something I would have done.
I said in the video, I'm like, I do not recommend that anybody does this, but for science, I am doing it.
That's big balls move right there, and I have an immense amount of respect for it. we're running way late. So, but I have
Oh,
a whole
yeah, we can wrap
philosophy
this up.
about crystals that I would never spend crystals on Datacrons. Oh my god! Even if it was to make content, unless I was seriously getting paid to make content, which, hey, maybe this will take off, and we'll get there, right?
Yeah, that's the hope. I mean, monetization really is the hope. Just
Yeah.
trying to get there, and then just chilling. Honestly, I'm not too ambitious beyond that.
No, I do this for fun.
Yeah, same.
So
I literally was like, I am already playing these grand arenas, and it takes time. Why would I not just?
that is exactly what my thought process was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago when I started doing this. Was I'm already doing this. I've always wanted to do something on like YouTube, Twitch, to stream a little bit, and I'm already doing this. Why not just do it? So,
All right. Well, I'll close this out then.
All right, hell yeah.
Yeah, this was super fun. And hey, we appreciate all you guys watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you again next time.
All right, peace out, guys.